The Blast from Our Past Network.
Lock your doors, close your windows, turn out your lights, for chills and thrills await you. It's time for Podcasting After Dark with your hosts, Corey Stevenson and Zach Schaefer. Stay with a friend, say your prayers as grisly ghouls close in to seal your doom, and enjoy this bonus episode of Podcasting After Dark.
Hey everybody, co-host Corey here with my final mini review in my Silent Night, Deadly Night marathon. I did it. I was able to see the 2025 remake. My wife and I had to drive to Corvallis. We live in Eugene. It wasn't playing in any of the theaters around here. I guess Avatar knocked it out of the theater. But we drove to a cool little mini independent theater called Dark Side Cinema in Corvallis. We had a nice little dinner at Block 15 beforehand and went and saw the movie. And yeah, guys and gals, this one was kind of a blast. I'm not going to lie. Later on in this review, I am going to have to possibly get into some spoiler territories, just like in concepts and themes and everything, just to kind of talk about it. But I'll try to right now just give you my high-end thoughts and everything, so you can kind of go from there. And then I'll let you know when I get into some spoilery territory. So I'll just start out by saying that I thought it was a blast. The movie's a lot of fun. It's gory, although because of its, by the producers, the people who made Terrifier 2 and 3, I kind of was expecting it to be a little bit more gory, but it was still fun. It was still a solid level of gore. I had a great time with it. The main guy playing Billy, Rohan Campbell, we saw him in Halloween Ends as the kid who befriends Michael Myers. I do not like that movie, but it wasn't him that I didn't like. I actually very much enjoyed Rohan Campbell in that. Then you see him in The Monkey. He has a little part in that as well. And I think he does a great job in this as Billy. And he makes the character relatable and everything. And I really like what he does. I don't really know any of the other actors in this. Ruby Modine, she plays kind of his love interest. Never seen her before. Some other people are in. Literally never seen anybody else in this movie before. They all did a solid job, though. The director, Mike P. Nelson, he's done one of the VHS 1985s. I guess he did one of the movies in there, but I don't think I've seen that one. I haven't seen it past the third VHS. I haven't watched past that. Haven't seen The Domestics. He directed the new Wrong Turn remake. Haven't seen that. Unfortunately, he did do that Sweet Revenge short on YouTube. The Jason Voorhees, the new, bringing Jason Voorhees into the modern era, and that was pretty fucking god-awful. Wasn't too thrilled about that, and I hear that it's actually been pulled from YouTube because I don't think people really responded well to that film. So this is kind of, this and that are my two main experiences with him, but I like what he did with this movie. I'll come right out and say, unlike the 2012 remake, it feels very Christmassy. There's actually snow in it. The lights are vibrant and beautiful. It's not that desaturated, dingy look and everything that 2012 had. But that's more from that era, that mid-2010 era horror movies just, had that desaturated, uber grimy look. This one, they get the Christmassy aspects right. And, I think that to have a Christmas horror film, you have to do the Christmas stuff as well as you do the horror stuff. And obviously, I'm sure most of you have listened to my mini reviews of Silent Night, Deadly Nights Parts 3, 4, and 5, and the 2012 remake. What really holds some of them back for me is their lack of Christmas feeling. I know a lot of people liked Part 4, The Initiation with Brian Usna. I think it's a fun horror film, but I want my Christmas horror to be Christmassy. And that was my biggest gripe with that one, but this does it right. Next week, you are going to hear our dual cast review of the Toxic Avenger remake with the guys at Talking Back Tim and Dean. One of the big things that we liked about it, all four of us, is that it's its own movie, but it has a lot of homages to the original, but it still does its own thing. This Silent Night, Deadly Night is the same way. It's its own beast, and I'll kind of talk about that and when I get into the spoiler territory, but you can keep listening. I won't spoil things. It's its own film. It's its own thing, what it's doing. But there's so many homages and everything to the original movies and mostly the first two, that it kind of makes you smile. So, not a spoiler, but Billy winds up working at a place called Ida's Trinkets, which is, close to Ira's toy store, So it's like little things like that. There is a Garbage Day reference, and me and this other guy in the theater cheered when that happened. There's also references to other horror movies. There was at some point when he's in the store, he picks up and looks at a crystal figurine of a crystal unicorn, which is the exact same one that Margot Kidder gets killed with in Black Christmas. So I'm sure, more viewings down the road, I'm sure that I'll pick up on some more stuff. There's homages. There's a kill montage, and, there's a bow and arrow kill in it. There's someone getting their head cut off, with the axe from, Billy's behind the tree and everything. He says punish and stuff like that. So it knows where it's coming from, and kind of like, again, you'll hear it next week, but kind of like with the Toxic Avenger remake, it feels like it was made by a fan of the franchise. It feels like Mike P. Nelson is a fan of the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise, at least the first two movies. Again, there's things where it opens with the grandpa, Billy visiting his grandpa at the beginning of the movie, but they do a little twist on that and everything. So he knows what your expectations are going to be, and then he kind of spins them and everything, and in a fun way, in a way that makes the movie its very own. I very much enjoyed this movie. I had a blast going through it, and surprisingly, my wife fucking loved it. She's a horror fan anyways. Slashers aren't necessarily her favorite genre. She likes, I think, more ghost stuff and everything like that. But she does like horror. She likes all kinds of horror. And she was laughing and hooting and hollering through this entire film. It's not a scary movie. It's a fun horror movie. And we got out of the theater. We were talking about it the whole drive home from Corvallis, which is about 40 minutes back to Eugene. And we were just talking about the whole movie, she'd seen the original with me and everything. She likes the original. It's not her favorite, but she loved this. She said it was one of her favorite movies of 2025. So, that I think that says a lot right there. But there are aspects of this film that I want to talk about, and they're going to be spoilery. I'm not going to spoil everything, but there is things that I do want to discuss that you might not learn about until later in the film. And yeah, anyways, it's kind of spoilery. So guys and gals, if you want to go in completely fresh, just, cut it off here and know that I freaking love this movie. I think it was awesome. It's not my favorite like number one is, and I actually rewatched number one as soon as we got home. Still my favorite of the franchise. But this one's up there with number two for me. I do love number two, but this one might be my second favorite in the franchise. So take that, go with it, run, go check it out when you get a chance. All right. Some spoilery stuff. So this version of Billy and everything, this leans into a supernatural aspect. And it works for me because one of the things in the original movie with Billy killing people at random, he gets lucky that he kind of kills people that might be, not the best person or whatever. He's not just straight up killing super good kids or whatever. But here, they take the supernatural aspect of it, and he's able to essentially hone in on bad people. And that's why he punishes them. And so everyone he kills in the movie is a bad person. And he has somebody he's talking to the whole time that's leading him through this and everything. And you'll learn more about it later. I'm not going to spoil that for you. But I do want to say there is a supernatural aspect to it where Billy and this voice in his head is able to hone in on bad people, and he kills them all throughout Christmas because the idea is if he kills this one bad person, then a random innocent person won't have to die that night. It doesn't kind of get too much into like that backstory lore, like how did that come to be? Doesn't get into that. But I do like the aspect of he's much more of an anti-hero in this movie. And I think that in 2025, that's the way you got to go. Like, I know we all know that in the original Billy, like we saw how he got to where he got to. And the movie does its best to deal with PTSD and all this kind of stuff and make us relate to Billy. But, you know, he is still kind of killing some innocent people and everything like that for no reason whatsoever. This movie gives his killings a reason, and I do very much enjoy that. Rohan Campbell is awesome. I think he's very relatable. Like I said, I liked him in Halloween Ends. Didn't like that movie, but I liked him in it. I like him in this movie. It feels bad that this movie I don't think has gotten as great mainstream, love. So I don't know how well it's going to do for him for his career, but I think he does a great job of being really relatable as Billy. And it works in 2025. So you got this supernatural element guiding him. So he's not killing innocent people. You guys all have seen the giant Nazi kill scene probably online. That's what they pushed, and everything. And it was awesome. It was great. Fuck Nazis, kill them always. But I was surprised that's not the end of the movie. That's like his second kill in the film. But I also think that that's the save the cat. That's his save the cat moment. It's when we sort of are able as a audience to relate to him. Because at this point, when this happens, we don't entirely know if the voice in his head is just a voice in his head that he's making up, or if there's something to it, if there's something maybe more supernatural to it. They actually do a good job of unraveling that little mystery throughout the film. So, the fact that it's supernatural, you do find out that early on, but there's other aspects that they do unravel that I very much enjoy. The movie does start with his parents getting killed and everything, like the original movie. He does not have a younger brother, Ricky, so there is none of that. But yeah, I liked the changes that they made with this, kind of like with the Toxic Avenger remake you'll hear about. I like the changes that they makes it very 2025, and brings it forward and, leaves the original to just be its own thing, which is what I kind of always, like remakes to do. So timeline wise, I guess now you have one timeline is Silent Night, Deadly Nights 1, 2, and 3. Another timeline is 4 and 5. And then another timeline is the 2012 remake. And then another timeline is this one, the 2025 remake. And right now, for me, it probably goes the original, part 1, then this one, And my wife walking out of the theater, she's like, we're watching this every Christmas. I was like, okay, I think she actually liked it a little bit more than I did. So that made me happy. I had no clue going into this what to expect. Didn't know if I was going to like it or not. Really didn't know if she was going to like it or not. So yeah, it's a fun time. A lot of homages, good kills, good gore. Billy's relatable. I like the characters. There's no characters that I found annoying or anything like that. And it was a fun ride all the way through. So, and if you're up in Corvallis, over by Block 15, then make sure you go check out Darkside Cinema. It's fun. You can also check them out on Instagram and everything, darkside.cinema.corvallis. And support, local, small, independent theaters. And I don't know if by the time you listen to this, if this movie's even in the theater anymore. But yeah, maybe when it comes out, check it out. Hope you guys dig it. And Merry Christmas. This is dropping on Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. I hope everybody's having a great time. And I hope you all enjoy the Toxic Avenger remake review with Tim and Dean and Zach and I next week. It should be fun. So yeah, we did a whole month of Toxie and I did a whole month of Silent Night, Deadly Night because I really wanted to just have some Christmas content this year. It was It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it ended on a positive note. If you like the show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave a comment on Spotify. That actually really helps. The algorithm. Everybody fucking knows it's all about the fucking algorithm. But commenting on our show on Spotify really helps. But if you really, really want to help out the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/podcastafterdark. Zach and I have a ton of content over there that is exclusive to Patreon, like our Auteur de Force tier, where Zach and I go through an auteur's filmography from beginning to end. We started with John Carpenter, went through every single one of his movies month by month. Then we moved on to Don Coscarelli. Now we are about done with William Lustig, and then we will be on to, who knows? But we're having a blast. And thank you to everyone who is at our highest $20 tier. You guys all frickin' rock. You're keeping the lights on, and we hope you enjoy the show. And I guess one last time, ho, 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 I'll punish you on the dark side, Billy. That makes no fucking sense. But Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hope you all have a great, great rest of the year.
Be sure to subscribe to Podcasting After Dark on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can support the show by joining our Patreon page, picking up a t-shirt from our merch store, or leaving us a 5-star review. Follow us on Instagram at Podcasting After Dark. All links can be found on our website at www.podcastingafterdark.com. And join us next time for another cult movie or TV show review with Corey Stevenson and Zach Schaefer.